122 for 1 then, Pakistan at lunch on day one. Now, we can't ask Brendon McCullum now what he felt of that morning session, but Ath did speak to him yesterday.
2 years since you were last here. It feels very different though, doesn't it? October, not December, much hotter. What are the challenges with the heat, and how have the players been preparing for that?
Yeah, it's definitely different. The pitch looks a bit different as well. Certainly a little bit more live grass on it for now, although we'll see how that goes tomorrow. Challenging, probably 15, 20 degrees warmer than what it was a couple of years ago, but look, it's a matter of how we can adapt. I think we come into the series with high hopes, but also realistic expectations that it's hard to win in this part of the world. And I know 2 years ago we were able to win 3-0, which probably stands as a bit of an outlier compared to most performances over here. So we've got to temper those expectations slightly, whilst also being firmly determined to try and ensure we give ourselves every hope. And we've got some personnel changes as well within the group, and more so within the bowlers, which will be great for us to work out how we're able to take 20 wickets in this first test and 60 wickets over the entire series. So it's fascinating to see how it unfolds. I guess the flip side of that is now we've got a batting group who's been together for 24 months or so and is pretty settled. So they'll look forward to this tour and have some high expectations of how they can perform. But yeah, it's tantalising really.
You mentioned the personnel changes. Obviously one of them is Ben Stokes, who's not fit for this game, maybe struggling for the second, I don't know. Was that against expectations? No, I don't think so. I think if anything, Stokes is, I think for most human beings, the expectations would be very realistic that he wouldn't have been available for this test match, and we'll obviously assess things for the next one as well. But when you're dealing with Ben Stokes, you've got someone who's very driven, total professional, and who is doing everything he could to be able to get himself back, because he's desperate to lead this team and to play a full part in the series. But in the end, we took the what we think's a sensible view, with a lot of cricket to come, and knowing how big a player he is across English cricket, we opted to obviously give him a little bit more time and trust in the other guys that were within the squad that we can cover him in this instance. Ollie Pope has to cover as captain. How did you think he did against Sri Lanka?
I thought he did really well, to be honest. I thought he grew as the series went on. Obviously we lost the last test match when Sri Lanka played extremely well.
Could he have done better in that final innings of that last test match?
In the final innings? I don't think so. Look, I think in the end, we threw a lot of darts at the board tactically against Sri Lanka, and I thought they played really well. I was a little surprised about, I guess, the assessment that we took them for granted, because we don't take anyone for granted. If anyone, you blokes took them for granted. For us, we treated them with the utmost respect, and we knew that both West Indies and Sri Lanka series were going to be tough series, and right throughout that summer we were challenged in every single test match, and to find a way to win 5 out of 6 of those test matches was a very, very good achievement, whilst also introducing some new talent. I thought Popey did a really good job, and I thought he grew. He obviously performed well with the bat in the back end of that series as well, and I guess whenever you lose, you're always going to question tactics and things too. But let's make no mistake that a lot of those tactics are not just one person making a decision, as you well know. They come from a conglomerate of leaders and coaches, etc. So, I thought he did a really good job, and he's going to have to do things slightly differently out here as well, with spin going to probably play a bit more of a role.
You mentioned that it's the bowling attack that's different this time. Let's just focus in on that. You've got Chris Woakes leading it. He's got a particularly poor record away from home, and he's 35 years of age now. What makes you think that things will be different for him at this stage of his career?
Well, he hadn't played 6 back-to-back test matches previously in his career as well. I think he averaged 20 or something over the course of the summer. He's got a superb record at home. His away record is what it is at this stage, but with the skills that he has and his ability to be able to be presented with the new ball and a slightly different role within the team as a leader, and we feel that where he's at in his career, he has the skills to be able to succeed in this part of the world. And people mature at different times, right? And for what he's got coming up, we see him as quite an important player. So look, I have total confidence in what Wokesy can deliver, the skill that he has, not just with the ball seaming round, but even throughout the summer when it went flat, he was able to still extract some movement and some reverse swing and use the crease when he needed to, and also add some runs with the bat. Plus the leadership that he has, it's a bet worth taking.
Brydon Carse makes his debut. What do you like about him, and why has he got the nod ahead of Matthew Potts?
Well, two boys playing for Durham, both out of the Stokesy mould in terms of leaving it all out there on the field. Matthew Potts has been very good. I think he's developed over the last couple of years. He obviously started really well in international cricket, but I think he's come back. He's a bit stronger, he's a bit fitter, and he's a bit faster as well. And his opportunities will come, no doubt. We're trying to build a battery of fast bowlers which we can call upon, because as we've seen, injuries can happen and things can change and conditions require different things. In this instance, with no Stokesy, we felt that Brydon Carse's ability to lend a little bit with the bat, coupled with the likes of Chris Wokes and Gus Atkinson, it gives us a bit of strength there. But also his ability to hit 90 miles an hour with the absence of Mark Wood gives us just something which is slightly different to the other guys that we have within the group. So, but we'll find out, right? That's the exciting aspect of this series is we are coming here with a slightly different lineup, which may be slightly untested, but we're going to find out in a few weeks where we sit, and I think that's exciting.
With Gus Atkinson making his debut abroad, his first Test match abroad, and Brydon Carse on debut, as you say, it's particularly an experienced attack, but you don't have your bowling coach here. Why?
Well, I thought he was going to miss the cut. His golf's been poor. I didn't anticipate that he'd be able to make the cut, but look, 2 months ago you guys were saying that he didn't deserve to be a coach just yet. Now it's sort of like we're missing him, and I think that's a great affirmation of how good an impact Jimmy Anderson has made in the short period of time, his transition from player to coach. We're in regular contact, right? We're always in contact. He's got groups set up with the bowlers and is always feeding information through. Chetan Patel was a very strong asset for us as well in the bowling department, and played the role as that bowling coach prior to Jimmy coming in anyway.
But if you're saying he's made such an impression as a coach in such a short space of time, obviously his knowledge of reverse swing and the skills that you need to do well here, he's had a particularly good record in the subcontinent, the latter stages of career. Surely, in the week before the first test, that's when you can have most impact on the group of younger, inexperienced bowlers that you have.
Yeah, I think we live in a world where you can still communicate without being face to face.
But it's not the same as being here, surely. Coaching by WhatsApp.
Maybe not. You'll be here, day 2 or whatever it is, and look, I don't have any concerns over it. I think the other aspect is...
Is that your decision or his, though?
It's a combined decision amongst everyone. Look, Jimmy's just taken to the coaching world. He's made a huge transition from a 20-odd year career into now this new role. He's on as a bowling consultant as well. He's not on a full-time contract, and we'll take what we can get when we can get it. These guys still have to live their lives. As we know, the challenges and demands of international cricket in the calendar mean that you need to be able to go out and enjoy yourself as well. I think if he was at home with his family, I question whether anyone would have any problems with it. But because he's playing golf, there's some uncertainty around it. But I don't have any qualms whatsoever. I'm absolutely delighted for him that he gets the opportunity to do something he loves doing. And when he gets here, he'll be right in the thick of it, as he's done as bowling coach since he came in.
Final question, if I may. 3-0 last time. You obviously must have learned a lot about trying to win here. It's become more difficult for Test match teams to win away from home now. What particular lessons did you learn last time?
The lessons we learned is we need to give ourselves plenty of time to be able to take the wickets required to win Test cricket. So we had to be prepared to risk losing in order to win. We had to force the run rate because of the slow nature of the wickets and the I guess the challenging factors which we were presented with. The conditions may be completely different this time around, so we're not too hard and fast about trying to replay what we did 2 years ago. We'll try and assess what the conditions are and try and adapt our game plan accordingly. But I do feel as if we have a squad which is capable of doing so. We're rounded and we're well balanced, and yes, whilst we might be slightly inexperienced in some capacity, we also, what you make up for in inexperience, you can grab in youth and excitement and enthusiasm. So look, I'm really hopeful of how the next few weeks go. We're determined to try and play a positive, entertaining brand of cricket, which hopefully ends up on the right side of it. But we know that it's also going to be real challenging, and we also respect that Pakistan's a country and a cricketing team which is immensely proud and determined to try and succeed in their own backyard as well. So I think it's going to be a fascinating few weeks.